heavy defeat last week. Is it all about now how the players react and what sort of reaction have you had in training this week?
The reaction has been very good in training. You know, we've had a long week to get over things. It's been difficult, but yeah, you're right. We do need a reaction to last week's events, and I'm sure we'll see that.
17 goals conceded in the last 4 Premier League games. How do you stop that?
Well, we go back to basics. We go back to what got us the 7 points in the first place. You know, be hard to beat, be disciplined, be very focused and concentrated, and do more things correctly than not.
Will you have your captain back to help?
Yes, Michael is available now. He experienced sitting on the bench last week. He doesn't want to experience that again. And yes, he's available for selection.
How big a boost is that?
Well, you want leaders in your team, you want experience, and Michael certainly carries a lot of that. So he's trained all week, he's ready, he's available, and I'm sure he will feature in the game.
Moses Olivaggio is facing another lengthy spell on the sidelines. Can you talk us exactly through what happened?
Well, Moses has been doing his rehab up to the present time on an individual basis with members of staff here, just to get him through certain ways of doing things in order to get him back into the group. We got him to that point. He was absolutely in top class condition, training really hard, very committed to looking forward to probably what would have been another couple of weeks, and then he'd be back. At the end of that session that he was doing, he had a fall which resulted in his patella being fractured. So we're taking the steps now to make sure he's rehabilitated right. He requires a bit of surgery, and we look forward to seeing him hopefully by the end of the season.
I guess with Robertson's injury as well, all these injuries defensively in particular are coming at just the wrong time.
Yeah, that's true. It's not ideal. We lost Mbakani during the international break, and just when we put him in the team and he did very, very well against Chelsea, we lost him there. So that was a bit of a hiccup. And to lose sort of the left back with a calf injury for a period of time is a problem, but it's something we can fill and we can deal with.
Will you fill it with young Josh Tyman?
Possible. Josh Tyman's young, inexperienced, but has played against Arsenal in the Cup, and he's progressing. We also have other options with Klukas, so you know it will be a decision later for me to take, and knowing that we have a game midweek as well, so we can take those calls probably by the end of today as to who's going to play that position.
Have you made any progress this week in strengthening your backroom team, in bringing a new number 2 in?
Yes, I've been looking, and lots of people have offered their services, and I'm sifting through that. You know, there's a certain type of person that you would like to bring into this football club, and in the main, it's difficult sometimes if people are already in work. And it's less difficult if they're out of work. So we're looking at all our options. We're trying to push things on, and hopefully we will get there soon.
We understand that there are 4 parties going through due diligence at the moment with regards to a takeover of the club. What have you been told? Have you been told anything?
I've been told nothing, and I haven't even asked the question about the takeover. I'm just letting that side of things take care of themselves. If we start being distracted by all that sort of rumour and talk, then it doesn't help our cause on the football field. So for me, it's just about football, and let the present owners deal with whoever the new owners may be.
Back to football, do you think that the next few games could be season defining?
It's early in the season, very early in the season, and I think teams now are starting to settle down into their routines. We've come off the back of a difficult time, but we've still a lot more to look forward to. We're trying to be more organised, more disciplined. We know the task that we've got in front of us is a difficult one. You know, it's the same for a few other clubs, but we just have to try and find some level of consistency now.
And final one from me, Chelsea against Manchester United this weekend.
I always get the Man United question at the end.
But the scene of where you famously burst the balloon and give Fergie a bit of a fright, you think maybe Jose Mourinho's coaching staff might be tempted to do the same?
No, that was an incident that seemed to make me famous, regardless of what I did with the football. No, it was just one of those moments in time where something appeared on the pitch, it got in my head, and it had to be dismissed quickly, so I popped the balloon and nearly lost my job. So the rest is history.
Mike, I think a couple of years ago I was in a hotel in China and you were doing punditry work out in China, was that right? Did you get a sense when you were out there that perhaps there was a shift towards the Premier League with the new money that's there?
There's definitely a massive interest now out in China regarding football. You know, they want to push out all the stops now to be a recognised footballing nation. So you could feel that. I mean, the Premier League is big out there, that's for sure. The Premier League's big everywhere, but certainly it's been promoted highly in China. There's a lot more football going on in China. I think they're trying to get more interest in the local Chinese people. And I think it's working. So far, so good. So, yeah, when I was out there, it was mainly Premier League football was important, but they are promoting now the Chinese side of things.
You said you don't want to be distracted by takeover, which obviously we can all understand, but from your point of view, with a transfer window in January, if it was to happen, I suppose getting that sort of would help you out a little bit.
Well, everything helps, you know, along the way. We've still got a spell between now and the January window. We can't look any further ahead to football than the present one, which is the next game against Stoke. So the takeover is not my issue, you know, and I keep getting asked the same question over and over again. And, you know, it's up to the people that own this football club to deal with the football club in their best interests, and I think that's what they'll do.
On Stoke, they had a poor start of the season, which I think surprised a lot of people, judging by the depth of the squad. But now it looks like we're probably seeing the real Stoke.
Yeah, we played them in the cup game not so long ago, and you could see the signs were there that they are a very efficient team. And speaking with Mark, he was sort of disappointed with the results that he got, but he was pleased with some of the performances that they put in. So they've now got their victory. They'll feel as though they're coming to Hull in a situation where they feel as though they could win the game. We're in the same position. We're on the back of a few results that haven't gone our way, and we need to improve and we need to get results.
Mike, I was just thinking about you saying about you wanting a reaction, your players will want a reaction as well, but the supporters, they're going to demand a reaction, aren't they?
Yeah, that's right, and the supporters are very true to this football club, you know, and they want to see their team playing well and winning football matches. There's nothing new in that. I think they will want to see a reaction because the ones that travelled last week to Bournemouth were extremely disappointed, as was myself, my staff and the players. I didn't expect that result. I certainly wouldn't expect that result again. But we're all in it together. We all have to pull our weight and we all have to prove to ourselves that we are good enough to take teams like Stoke and everybody else on at our own ground.
And you would know Mark Hughes very well. Do you think he would see this as an opportunity for his team?
I think every game's an opportunity for any team to pick up points. We're no different to Stoke. We have to make sure we're prepared to put in the hard miles, to learn from the last few weeks in the defeats that we've taken. You know, nothing is given to you in this game. It's all about concentration and character and effort. And I don't think there's a shortage of effort. It's just a case of doing the basics correctly. We conceded probably 4 set pieces. We haven't conceded set pieces for a long, long time. And we did it all in one game. So I'm expecting an improvement in that department. And also from ourselves in the way we go about our jobs to win football matches.
You said you've had a week to get over it. You're not fragile right now, are you?
Me personally?
No, the team, the group of players.
I don't see why we should be fragile. You know, we learn hard lessons, and we've certainly learnt a few over the last few weeks. But, you know, character has to come into it, and we're in the big league, and the big league demands that your big players turn up, perform, and if we do that more times than not, we will win football matches.
And when you say that Michael is available this weekend, he probably doesn't want to be on the bench as he was last weekend, but you said, you know, you wanted him to be there sort of to learn and experience what happens now that he's coming back onto the pitch. What can he take from that to the playing field?
Well, that's a question Michael can answer, really. You know, he can answer that in the things that he's seen over the time he's been out. He's sat in the dugout, he's understood the situations players are going through when he can't help. But he now takes all that back onto the football field. He's in the dressing room all the time. So he passes on those messages of what he's learnt and what we are actually asking of the team. So hopefully that will work out good in the long run. We're not sure, but you know, we will find out.
With regard to your assistant, Mike, you've been linked with Tony Coton this week. Is there anything in that at all?
I've been linked with a load of people this week. I know Tony, I've known him a long time, but he's already in work. So, you know, it is a difficult situation to take somebody from what is a perfectly good job into another one, you know. So there are others. I'm looking at them, I'm talking to them on the phone, I'm trying to work out roughly what I can bring to this football club, and it's not something that's going to happen overnight. It took me 3.5 months to get a deal done here, so it may take a little bit longer, who knows. But I am active. People do want to come to this football club and they do want to work with this group of players, so it will happen as quickly as it will happen.
Have you been in a position where you can offer somebody the job yet?
No, not yet. No, we're still trying to get through the list that has come to my attention. So I'm open-minded and roughly know what I want, and we'll take it from there as and when I get to sit down with the short list of people that I want to talk to.
How well did you get on with Mark Hughes when you used to be at Manchester United?
Very good. Me and Mark, myself and a few others. I know Mark Bowen as well, and Eddie who's there. A good relationship both as a player and when we were together, you know, in football. So we've had some good times. He's established himself now as a good manager. He's working hard at his football club as well as his staff, and I think it's great to see that he's doing as well as he can.
After all that's gone on before, how much importance do you place on this game this Saturday?
The same importance as I put on last Saturday's game and the game before that. You know, it's another game of football, and we have to be competitive and challenging, and we have to do the things that are expected of us and do them well. And it's a case of the team that will play may be slightly altered simply because of a couple of injuries, but it's still the Hull City team, and I'm sure they'll perform to the best of their abilities.
Just finally, how concerned are you by the current form?
Yeah, you're concerned when you're losing. You know, it's not a nice feeling because football's all about getting results. Some things have gone against us, you know, in previous games where we've lost players and we've been down to 10 men when really you don't want to be down to 10 men against teams of that quality. But last week's defeat was done by ourselves. You know, it's been talked about. It's been talked about to the players. The players understand the position, and you know, it was one of those games where I was disappointed because I never expected it, and I don't think they expected it as well. So we've got a chance now, because there's always another game, to try and put it right, and I'm sure we will give a good account of ourselves.